I'm back with a video response to Chocolatetresses mommy vlog because it really struck a chord in my heart just watching her, because it just reminded me so much of myself more than 13 years ago when I decided to stay home. I felt strongly like God was leading me to stay home, even though I had completed a college degree and a master's, followed by a master's degree, and had worked for a couple of years. I really felt like God wanted me to stay home with my kids. And it was such, and here's the one in charge now. It was such a process for me. And when I watched her video, if you look at the original video, she talks about how her kids have grown and they've got all these activities that they're involved in now, and she finds herself running around after them. And she talks about how she tried to get a degree, go back for a graduate degree in nursing, and it's just been such a challenge, and she just felt like God was telling her she needed to stay home. But she was struggling with, well, what about her? What about her hopes? What about her dreams? What about all the work she did to come so far? She didn't feel like she had done all of that to stay home. And I just want to tell you that you can be encouraged. I know my process took years. It took me a long time to get to the comfort zone that I'm in now. And I'm actually looking at my kids now, and I am so glad. I am so glad that I chose to stay with them. I know that at times you can feel isolated, you can feel stunted, you can feel like you want to talk more than baby talk. I remember being out with my husband and some friends one time, and we were at a restaurant or something, and I had to excuse myself, and I said something like, "Oh, excuse me, I have to go potty." And they all kind of looked at me like, and that experience just exemplified, how different your mommy life can be from other adults who aren't home all the time with their kids, even though, we know everyone loves their kids, but, when you're home all the time with them, you kind of can come down to their level. And then when it's time to deal with adults, you really feel the difference. And when you're home all day, they pull on you in an emotional way that can sometimes feel draining. So I wanted to tell you that being home, I've learned the hard way that it's still important to find time for myself. It's important to find ways to continue to pursue things that I enjoy. Being home doesn't mean you have to give up your interests. It doesn't mean you can stop learning, or you can stop pursuing things that have nothing to do with being a mom, nothing to do with being a wife. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think that you're making a wonderful choice to be home with your kids. And if you could connect with other moms, that would help, that are going through the same thing, and try to have like an honest relationship with them. I know for me sometimes, and not just me, I've just noticed that the temptation is to get around other moms, and everybody's competing to show who has it the most together. It's been life-changing for me to be transparent and share what I'm struggling with, and listen to other moms share what they're struggling with. And no one has all the answers, but every now and again someone will share something that radically changes my situation and make things better for me. And it could be something as small as, girl, when I make lasagna, I don't just make one, I make 4, and I freeze the other 3, so that when I'm having those days when I just can't cook, I pull out one of those frozen lasagnas, and I know my family's having a good meal, and we didn't have to eat something not as nutritional, like pizza or whatever. And those experiences really, really help. But I just wanted to come and let you know that you're not alone, and that your experience is not, you're not making mountains out of molehills. And I understand where you're coming from. And that God is faithful, and believe it or not, He'll let opportunities come your way. And while I chose to be home, I still had opportunities to exercise like my professional ability. And these days I contract. which is the best of both worlds because I make my own hours, and I can work as little as I like. So I just want you to know that whatever your situation is today, be encouraged that things do change and it may be different. You don't know what God can bring in or take out down the line. But I think the most important thing for me was just to step out and just experience it day to day and see what came of it. And looking back, I don't regret it one bit. And I'm actually very excited about the future. Be blessed.